Good morning, traders and investors. It is Monday, August 11th. Hopefully everyone had an awesome weekend. I got a photo from one of our members, Steve. I met him in Las Vegas last year, and he's in Ibiza with his wife, and he showed a picture of him on his phone in our mobile app watching our videos there. He's just saying he doesn't want to miss our updates, so it's awesome to see everybody else traveling and having a good time and following along with our updates. Also, at the end of the video, I share some interesting clips of this weekend as well. But anyways, let's dive into this market. We've got some price action going on. The markets are trying to figure out, are they going to go for a swan dive and sell off like they did last year in August? Or are we going to see the markets break and muscle their way higher with potentially the Magnificent Seven doing most, if not all, the heavy lifting to the upside and just drag these indices back up and kick us back into an uptrend? As we see here, we have been rotating in and out of the markets. We have moved out right up near the highs here last week because the technicals are breaking down. What we're looking at from a sentiment standpoint is we're starting to see some weakness here, very similar to what happened just before the trend really broke down and sold off. That's what this price action is right over here. So that's kind of where we're at. We're back into this type of scenario, and we just have to see if the market is going to hook up and go higher or if it is going to break down. Either way, we have locked in gains. Our accounts have pushed up to new all-time highs, and we are sitting pretty waiting for the next opportunity to profit. If the markets go down, we can continue to grow our accounts. If they go higher, we get back in specific trades, but we do need the technicals to confirm. It doesn't mean if they go to all-time highs, we jump right back in. There's a lot of technicals behind the scenes. Now, the flip side, the bottom chart here is of bonds. Bonds continue to be down. We have this green 150-day moving average. It continues to be in a downward trend, a bear market, or at least a stage one base at best. So not a whole lot of insight there from the overall markets. Money is flowing into stocks this morning. We are seeing money move into equities. We are seeing some mixed scenarios. It looks like XLU, utility stocks, they're actually set to, they were higher. They're relatively flat, but we are seeing money rotate out of the precious metals space this morning. We're seeing gold down 2.4%. And again, this is why I like to look at gold and things through regular trading hours, which if you read my book and follow the analysis here, the key analysis on the markets I use during regular trading hours. Futures show what happened around the clock, and it can give you some false signals. We did have gold hit all-time highs a session ago, and now they're having a fairly significant pullback for gold and a reversal. And I like to look at GLD or any regular trading hour. This is the physical Sprott fund as well, but you can see gold did not hit all-time highs where the majority of volume is. The futures market, which I'm going to be doing a video on this showing the Kitco charts, how it overlays multiple days. The futures market, you've got opens and closes with different exchanges. It creates whipsaws and fake outs and shakeouts. And so, again, I'm not jumping the gun on gold. I'd rather get in when I feel that the chart has actually started to break out and not futures whipsaw price action going forward there. If we take a look at gold miners real quick, we covered this. I'm just going to make this bigger. You can actually see gold miners on the bottom right-hand chart here. Miners are moving down this morning. We talked about this last week with where gold miners are pointing to and how they hit their 100% measured move, and we should expect some type of pause or pullback. So we've got the rally up, the pullback. If we just connect those, you can see gold miners here hit that 100% measured move, and now we need to see some type of pause or consolidation, and that's what we're starting to see. We're going to see it move down fairly sharply down to around 56.65. So it's going to be down here around the 5-day moving average. So again, it had that impulse move, and now we need to let it work itself out. I was very clear about this last week that I like physical gold because it's in that sideways channel. It hasn't broken out, but gold miners have broken out first. And that usually gives us a sign that gold will be next. But overall, everything needs a little bit of a pause or pullback to digest the recent move before I think we go higher. If we look at silver, kind of a bearish looking chart to some regard. It's had a series of little bear flags to the downside. It's popped up into resistance. It's got a reversal bar, pretty heavy volume selling on the downside. I like the precious metal space, but it needs to prove itself. And the only play that I like in the space is gold if it starts to break out and run, which, again, I already explained hasn't happened just yet. We are seeing money rotate into oil a little bit. Oil is oversold. It's been beat up pretty hard. I think it's still going to continue to go a whole lot lower, down to $56, $58 a barrel, but it might have a bounce and a little bit of a pause here. We talked about this last week. It's had a big move, and now a little bit of a pause is pretty much normal when you break these lows, and then it could roll over and wipe out a little bit more. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, because it is actually bucking the trend. And this is the problem with not only Bitcoin, but also precious metals. You never know when they're going to move with the stock market or go against the stock market. And we got Bitcoin here having quite a pop in price, getting up darn close to hitting some new all-time highs. So it is coming to life as it seems a defensive play. We got gold down 2.5%. We got Bitcoin up 2.5%. So maybe money's starting to really rotate between those two in a very definitive way. But I don't know. Maybe there's also news in the Bitcoin space, but it is pushing higher and trying to firm up. And we'll just have to see how that unfolds. Again, I'm not interested in getting into Bitcoin until the NASDAQ gives us a buy signal. And of course, Bitcoin needs to be on our hot list as a top performing play, as something that we can get involved in when we get to that phase. If we take a look at the hot list, we can see that there's actually quite a few sectors with risk off, telling us money really isn't pouring into a lot of sectors. And this is one of the reasons why we have our sell signal, is money's not really pouring into the stock market. It's just a couple of stocks dragging the market up, giving us camouflage, giving us false belief that it's a strong rally. Obviously, we have had it is a very strong rally long-term that we've had, but when we look at it from a technical standpoint, the markets are at a turning point. They're either about to roll over and sell off, or they're going to kick into high gear. We'll see another big wave of FOMO drive the markets up. Magnificent Seven do, I think, a lot of the heavy lifting. Again, we just have to wait and see how that unfolds. But overall, not a whole lot of insight in the market. We have red bars. We have this red at the bottom of our chart here. We don't want to touch stocks in general. They're usually going to be out of favor and want to fall. Let's take a look at the chart of bonds. We do have bonds up 0.25% this morning. Bonds still kind of dead money here. In the long grand scheme of things, they're still either in a downtrend or putting in a bottom. Again, we don't want to get it. Bottom fishing is not something we want to do. It could still trade sideways for years for all we know. It could still go to lower lows. So we're steering clear of bonds for now until they turn around and become an opportunity for us to take advantage of. Now, we do have the dollar moving up this morning. Let's zoom into the dollar here. The dollar, we talked about this impulse wave last week, how when you have an impulse wave that breaks two previous highs. So here's a nice standout high. Here's another standout high. We have broken through two of these. And you could almost argue there was one here, although this is definitely a standout high. I'd say this is the next significant standout high. But when you have a move that breaks through two resistance levels, that means it's got some momentum. When you can bust through two ceilings, then usually that pause and pullback is going to become an opportunity for it to have another leg higher. So it looks like it's carving out a bottom. You could probably say there's an inverse head and shoulders. You could see all kinds of stuff in here, but from the grand scheme of things, it looks like the momentum has gone from a downward bias to a sideways, and now it looks like it's shifted to an upward bias, and it's picking up a bid today. As the dollar goes up, it can put pressure on gold and precious metals in general, and that's, I think, what we're starting to see here now. That is really about it. Take a look at this. I did post this article yesterday. Why free market analysis can cost you more than you think. And I know a lot of you use free analysis. You surf and browse a lot of people's different opinions, which actually is a cause of massive problems, as this article explains. So make sure you go give this a read. I did share it in our members post last night. Very powerful information and insight, and kind of a reality check of what I think a lot of you may be going through, who are perusing through a lot of other people's opinions, because you guys send me a lot of articles and content from people that have very different outlooks and views. And again, it doesn't matter what somebody's opinion is. This is a pretty sobering little message here. Check out this little clip if you want to see what we are up to over here. Bye-bye. And me. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. It was an action-packed, fun family weekend here It was 34 degrees Celsius, which is smoking hot for Canada. It was very tropical feeling. We fished out at the shipwreck and caught some bass, caught 2 bass there. We tubed our way out and back, my wife and my son and I. And then when we did get back, my daughter wanted to go surfing. She just finally got learning how to get up water start with a surfboard. And she absolutely just is craving it now. And so we got out riding, and I got in some surfing as well, which I love. And she's driving the boat now, which is really nice. And then after that, I ended up going to my best man's house. He was best man at my wedding. We built a de Havilland Beaver, finished this. We used to build and fly RC planes as kids, nitro-powered ones. And then the next morning was a 4:55 a.m. start time. I drove my daughter to her horseback show. She's competing in 2 classes that morning. And I ended up working on an article that I posted on the blog last night. I shared with you via email if you're on our email list. And then, of course, she ended up coming in 6th for her category, which was pretty good. She kind of had a rough start, but overall, it was a great weekend and action-packed.